What is that one food that everyone thinks is healthy, but is actually making everyone bloated every single day?
So I think what is the one thing that people do is they think probiotic supplements are the end all and the be all for gut health, right? I take a probiotic supplement, I'm going to improve my health. Rubbish. That's not the way it works. Yes, it does have a role in certain conditions, in certain scenarios, but they are very much overhyped compared to the science that we see and compared to the role that we see their effect on a patient.
Wow. So probiotics are, I mean, would you say it's almost a farce?
I don't think it's a farce. So we definitely have studies to show that there are certain conditions where probiotics immensely help. But there's a lot more other things that you can do within your lifestyle that can improve your gut health and your gut microbiome compared to the probiotics.
So can you talk about what the gut is and actually take us back to the basics?
Yeah.
And what does gut health stand for?
Yeah. So gut health is basically optimal digestion. You're absorbing your nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, and you're eliminating waste products. When we talk about the gut microbiome, we actually are talking about the trillions of microorganisms that are present within the gut tract or the digestive tract.
And I believe the gut begins here.
Starts at your mouth, ends at your anus.
Okay.
Okay. There are trillions of organisms. We have bacteria, viruses, fungus, something called parasites, archaea. And we sometimes think of these as bad things, right? Oh my God, I have a bacteria, it's bad.
Yeah.
No, the type of bacteria that we have that is bad is that pathogenic bacteria. Those are the types that we need antibiotics for. But within our gut, we mostly have good bacteria. Some people like to classify it as bad bacteria. I do not because I think it's an oversimplification. We have something called commensal bacteria, which
Okay.
is basically present in normal amounts. If it overgrows, it can cause an issue. Okay. So when we're thinking back at this gut tract and the amount of abundant kind of gut
Yeah.
bacteria that we have, the majority of it is gut bacteria, and that is in your colon. Now, if I take your colon and if I take your entire digestive tract or your intestines out of your body and I stretch it out, I've got 25 feet right there.
Oh my God.
And if I uncrumple it and I actually spread it out, I have nearly half a badminton court. That is
That's crazy.
how massive our gut, our intestines are. And that is the massive role that they are playing in digestion, right?
Wow.
Between the outside world and the inside is only one cell thick. Your gut lining is actually quite paper thin.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what role do these bacteria have to play? The majority of them are in your large intestine, in your colon. Okay. What they do is they take and they kind of feed on the fiber that you consume from your meals. Our body in
Yes.
itself is not able to make enzymes to digest fiber. Initially, we thought, okay, fiber is just for roughage so that I can have a poo, but it's so much more than that. These bacteria actually nibble on the fiber, they act as fertilizers, and they make something called short chain fatty acids.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into detail with what they are, but
Thank you.
they basically go inside of the body and they have a massive role to play in appetite regulation, metabolism, lipid control, blood sugar regulation, and hormones.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a massive role. The second thing is your gut lining. 70 to 80% of your immune cells are in the gut. So when you are thinking you're falling sick because of another issue, the majority of symptoms actually start, or the majority of your immune system is in the gut, right?
Yeah.
So we know that when you don't have optimal gut health, there's a lot more infection, there's a lot more inflammation that's happening that your body could potentially not fight off.
While you're saying this, I can't help but kind of go back to, whenever I would get like a pimple when I was in my
Yeah.
teens, my grandfather would always ask me if I was constipated. Um, Even now, if I get a fever, my dad will always ask me if I've used the restroom. And even my mother-in-law, she's a naturopath,
Yeah.
doesn't believe so much in allopathy. And every time we're falling sick, and it could be from a throat ache to like
Yeah.
fever or that body ache, but she makes us have Sudarshan,
Yeah.
right? And Sudarshan is actually like it helps with your digestion.
Yeah.
So it never made sense to me for so many years. And because she's like, just have it, just have it, just have the
Yeah.
2 tablets, you're popping the Sudarshan in. And now, like 3 months ago, because like adult life, and now you have kids, you feel responsible. I actually read the box
Yeah.
because I'm like, what am I inhaling? What
Yes.
is this that I'm having all the time?
Yeah.
And I read that it says it basically gives you digestive relief.
Yeah.
And why was she making me have it every time I had like a fever or throat ache or body ache? And it works.
Yeah. The gut is fascinating. I feel like, 20 years ago, our ancestors, even from our studies, right, pre 2000s, we kind of knew the bacteria were there. They were
Mm.
co-living with us. And we actually have more bacterial cells in our body than human cells. Your
Oh.
skin has separate bacteria. They have something called an entire skin microbiome. There's a vaginal microbiome. There's a bladder microbiome. There's so many different types or groups of bacteria or microbiomes or, the bacteria, the parasites, all of that within our body. And they all play a massive role in the functions of it. Now, up until 2005, 2006, where technology really started kicking off, we've now started to understand that the bacteria or the microbiome in itself has a massive role to play in not just coexisting with us, but in actually changing all of these processes in the body. And that's where we started to realize, okay, there's a link between the microbiome and so many medical conditions, whether that's
Mm.
diabetes, whether that's infections, whether that's autoimmune conditions. And that has become a massive gateway for us to kind of understand that we need to actually start getting to the root cause, which is the gut.
Which is why gut health is so important.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
Yes.
Because that was my next question, but I feel like you've
Yeah.
pretty much answered that. What are some symptoms someone should look out for that they know their gut health needs to be fixed?
So, really interesting, but the majority of symptoms that you mentioned at the beginning,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we look out for.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there could also be big symptoms, other symptoms to look out for. Number one is a change in your bowel habits. Now, it is normal for some people to go to the bathroom 3 times a day. It is normal for some people to go to the bathroom 3 times a week. So you have to start understanding what's normal for you and understanding when is the change happening. Think about the consistency of the stool. So we have something in medical schools, it's used in hospitals and clinics called the Bristol stool chart, which
Okay.
essentially is a chart from 1 to 7 that tells you the shape and the consistency of your stool. A bit disgusting, but I feel like we can't talk about gut health without talking about your poo. Number 3 and 4 normal. Number 1 is basically constipation, like hard like pellets, and number 7 is kind of diarrhea. Okay. Understanding where you stand on that on a normal basis for you and understanding how that changes. That's the things that you need to look out for. Then we think about all of the other cognitive issues as well, right? Brain fog. Am I losing focus? Do I have an issue with my menstrual cycles? Do I have an issue with bloating, abdominal pain, all of these things? That's probably indicating that there is a gut health issue going on right now. Eczema, frequent infections, allergies, all of these are related to gut health. Okay. Is it a cause effect? We don't know yet, but there's definitely an association worth looking into the gut health then. Change in bowel habit, change in frequency of stool, consistency, fatigue, constipation, bloating, abdominal pain, skin issues. And we're kind of going into this entire realm of things. And we're like, okay, there's a lot.
Yeah,
Cognitive issues, brain fog, allergies,
energy
crashes, eczema, frequent infections. These are certain things that you can look out for.
What about the relation of gut health and anxiety? Because we spoke about
Yeah.
how that's when you stress, it will probably impact your gut health. But gut health also has a connection to actually driving anxiety, right? Or is that a confusion?
So it's kind of like a chicken and egg situation.
Okay.
We don't know what came first. A lot of
Okay.
people are thinking, okay, that person has either depression or anxiety, and that's causing the gut health issue. But we have certain studies that were done years ago that actually think, oh, maybe the majority of the condition started within the gut.
And what is the gut weight connection?
That's an interesting one. So,
Because I think this is,
yeah.
what I'm coming to. But I think, and I know every time we would be in a conversation, I would be like, I feel so skinny, and you would be like, but that's not the goal. But for so many, and me included, it really is. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be quite honest and
Yeah,
upfront
it
about
is.
this.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like solving my gut issues led to like weight loss.
Yeah. So again, do we want to kind of create this cause effect? I'm going to solve my gut, I'm going to lose weight. No. But we have clear studies to show. There was one interesting study done. There were twin girls. One was kind of in a lean body, one was in a larger body. They took out fecal samples from each of those girls and transplanted them into sterile mice.
Okay.
The one with the lean composite, and then they fed them the exact same number of calories. They had the exact same number of activity. That mice actually replicated what their counterpart had given them. So
Okay.
the mice who got the lean body kind of fecal transplant became lean, and the mice who got the larger body fecal transplant became obese,
Okay.
despite having the same number of calories. So that just goes to show to us that your gut microbiome does have a huge role to play in appetite regulation, hunger, satiety, and so much more.